This is another episode that got 5 extra minutes, though part of that is probably because the previously segment lasts 90 seconds. Unlike Ben, DVD timers don't lie. And this episode does technically have flashbacks, but they're more closely linked to the narrative than usual, so I'll be doing this one in complete chronological order. And finally, something I forgot to mention last time is that we never do find out the meaning of those hieroglyphics after the timer reaches 0. And now, on to the show. Claire is worried that Aaron is getting sick, so she asks Locke where Jack is. Locke says he's on key duty, then has to make up an excuse why he has to go get him instead of her, given the whole keeping a guy locked in there and torturing him thing. Already making you look stupid, huh?
Baby's got a fever. A fever?
What does she think I am, a doctor? Way to keep yourself likable there. And after the writers went to so much trouble last time making Sawyer look bad instead. Danielle shows up and Claire's naturally not too thrilled to see her. She also triggers a bunch of images in a transparent ploy to give us something to point to later and say, oh, that's what that meant. Jack tells Claire that Aaron probably just has a minor virus as something to worry about, but he does it in the douchiest manner possible because, well, he's Jack. Just look at him, with the only thought in his head being, I thought this would be a sweet retirement and these assholes still want me to do stuff when they get sick. I only became a doctor for the golf, damn it. Claire explains the whole thing to Libby as the closest thing to a second doctor on the island, and she has this to say.
Claire, I don't think you have amnesia. You know, sometimes when something terrible happens to us, there's a little switch in your head that flicks on to protect us from having to deal with it. Maybe your memories aren't gone. Maybe you're just blocking them.
You mean like amnesia? That was a long way to go to get to the same place. Locke gives Ben a copy of the Brothers Karamazov, basically just as an excuse to pontificate to Jack about his knowledge of literary history like the pretentious douchebag he is.
What are we doing, Jack?
What are we doing?
We can't hide him down here forever. Changing shifts around is going to get people asking questions. I just want to know what the long-term plan is.
That's a good question, and Jack doesn't have an answer, so he just gives a complete non sequitur. Maybe he's just getting back at Locke for that stupid off-the-point remark of his own last time. Libby tells Claire they're away from all the camp noises while we can still hear Aaron crying in the background. Nice direction there. This results in more low-rent Marble Hornet shots until the flashback proper begins. Claire's talking to a doctor about her unborn baby, and the camera work couldn't make it more obvious that we're deliberately not being shown the doctor's face, utterly spoiling the reveal that it's Ethan. He gives her an injection and flashback over. So nothing we couldn't figure out perfectly well ourselves then. Claire's now convinced that she needs to find the room she saw and it will have medicine that will help Aaron. There's a brief bit that's strictly for the ladies of a shirtless, sweaty Echo chopping down trees before he comes into the Swan for a saw while Ben's in the bathroom and sees the perfectly evident bed in the weapons room. You guys really aren't good at this, are you? Kate asks Sawyer for a gun so she can help Claire look for the room and does this pathetic little power play where she demands he not ask her why. Sawyer calls her out on it and she folds like a cheap card table. It's pretty fun to watch, particularly since there's no reason for secrecy anyway. Claire leaves Aaron with Sun and acts like a bitch for a while, just so an innocuous line from Sun can call up another flashback. This is kind of getting ridiculous. Is she going to remember every time someone said her name next or something? Anyway, she's now pretty loopy from the drugs Ethan's been giving her, and he shows her a nursery the others have set up. It even comes complete with a mobile of Ocean Plains. Okay, what the flipping hell? It's made clear later that the crash was a complete surprise to the others, so how could they have this thing? I can kinda buy that it plays Catch a Falling Star like Claire said she wanted Aaron to hear since Ethan was spying on them for a while, but it seems using those planes would just make things worse for everyone to no purpose. Tom arrives without a beard, oh, I'll get to that, and Ethan says he was forced to bring Claire in early because Hurley found out he wasn't on the plane. Tom also references some superior that will turn out to be Ben, not that the writers knew this at the time for reasons I'll get into next time. Kate picks up Danielle's trail, and once they find her, she lets Claire know about her team getting sick and agrees to lead them to where Claire was taken. Echo lets Jack know that he knows about Ben and says he'll keep it a secret if he and Ben can get some time alone, and Jack's still a jerk about it, so what else is new? On Team Claire, things break down when it turns out Danielle doesn't actually know where Claire was and was actually counting on her to lead them there. Kind of a metaphor for the show's writing staff, really. She also gets a particularly awesome moment when she walks up to Kate and asks to be shot. Claire has another flashback when she gets to a spot where Ethan took her and drugged her some more because God forbid we get any forward movement here. It's also revealed that the others were planning on sending Claire back after Aaron was born without Aaron. Right, because it was so important that she alone raise Aaron, and now the others want to raise him because, quantum. Claire is now able to find the place she was being kept, another Dharma station called the Staff, and this one's door is actually covered up well. Shame they couldn't think of this before to explain how no one found the door to the Swan. There's also these really weird, obviously blue screen shots. They were in Hawaii anyway, so would it really have been that hard to get the actresses on location for these? It turns out the Staff has apparently been abandoned since Claire escaped. What makes you think I know? As the flashbacks hinted before, Kate finds evidence that Tom's beard is fake. Why? Just to be weird, apparently. Once more onto flashback land as Kate's woken up by Cynthia from Malcolm in the Middle. She says that the others are planning to kill Claire and cut Aaron out of her, but Claire's so brainwashed by now that she has to be chloroformed to get her out. Back in real time, she finds the medicine cabinet, but it's empty. Then right back to flashback where she wakes up outside and Danielle stops her from calling out to Ethan, leading to Claire scratching Danielle as we saw in Exodus. And I highly doubt there's anyone who didn't see this coming, but it's still treated as a huge twist. One more for the foot massage reveal pile. Everyone leaves empty-handed, though Claire now thinks the girl that helped her was Alex and tells Danielle. In return, Danielle says she'll have to kill Aaron if he's infected. Nice.
And if the alarm goes off, don't tell him what it's for.
What is it for?
I love this show's fleeting acknowledgments of just how obtuse the story and all the characters are. It turns out Echo just wanted to tell someone his sins of killing those two others before he cuts his little beard thingies off. I don't know much about religion, so I'll just assume this means something in one of them. Just as Claire returns without the cure, Jack announces that it was just that regular virus he thought it was, and it's over now. Congratulations, everything you just did was pointless. Ben makes an incredibly obvious attempt to sow distrust between Jack and Locke's stupid enough to let it get to him and throws a little hissy fit. You know, trying to make a good magnificent bastard villain is pretty easily undermined when he's only up against people like this. My score for Maternity Leave is 10 out of 10. Sure, it causes some problems later, but I do still try to judge each episode on its own, and this one works really well, giving us the long-awaited story of what happened to Claire in a more engaging manner than the flashbacks are usually presented, and tying it in with the Danielle subplot in a way that doesn't feel forced at all. We also get a nice start to what could have been a great story for Echo if not for, well, I'll get to that.